Welcome to this video where you're going to meet most of the late career and retiree affinity group leaders. A few were not available. We made this video now because March is our spotlight month. It's Women's History Month. We also have a favorite. March 1st is National Refired, Not Retired Day. And we really like that day as a group of late career and retiree people. You can find us at this Linktree link or use the QR code to get to the Linktree. You will find everything there that you need to know about us. This is our current organization. You're going to be seeing many of the people on here. I'm going to go first as the lead for the Late Career and Retiree AG. I have been a SWE member for about 26 years. I got involved as a faculty advisor at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach, Florida. And I moved to Wichita, Kansas shortly after that and really got involved there. And it's been a great fun for me to be involved in the Late Career and Retiree AG. I was involved in signing on to the petition, and then when we started meeting in July of 2019, I was there. I had been a member. I did all the offices in Wichita, wound up as the first senator from Region I, and then I kind of dropped out. I got involved in parental care and didn't have a lot of time and had trouble finding things that really interested me. So I was very happy when the LCR came along and I could get involved. For my career, I have degrees in aerospace engineering from what's now called the Missouri University of Science and Technology, from George Washington University, got my PhD at the University of Kansas, first female to get a PhD in aerospace engineering at KU back in 1989. And I finished up with a Master of Business Administration with an emphasis in technology management from the University of Phoenix. Spent my 42-year career working in government, private industry, academia, and then industry. It was a very exciting career, lots of things relative to aircraft. I really enjoyed it. I hope that you will enjoy the rest of this video as you meet the other members of the LCR leadership team. Barbara, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your career journey and your SWE journey?
Thanks, Vicki. Well, I will say I'm pretty much a newbie to SWE because I've not been a member more than 10 to 12 years compared to some of the other folks in the late career and retiree group. Career-wise, though, I am late career. I'm not retired, and I'm approaching my 40th service anniversary at Raytheon and currently work as a quality engineer.
Excellent. Tell us about what the conference engagement. First, Lori and Seal, would you please tell us about yourselves and your SWE journey?
Hi, I'm Lori Ramsey, and I'm a retiree from Ford Motor Company. I was there about 32 and a half years, and I've been a SWE member for over 40 years, starting at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and I'm a fellow life member of SWE.
Okay, I'm Seal Craig, and I retired about 11 years ago for the second time. I've been a member of SWE for 50 years and active in the Santa Clara Valley section in Northern California. I've been a SWE fellow since 2017.
Hi, Charlotte. Please tell us a little bit about your career and SWE journey.
Thanks, Vicki. Such a pleasure to be with you today. For a career, I am a mechanical engineer. I went to the University of Maryland, and my specialty is in the energy efficiency field. So I've been in the energy consulting field for many years, where I make buildings more energy efficient. We do this in energy audits, commissioning, retro commissioning, as well as renewable energy. So I've been I started off as an engineer in that field. And then I will get to my SWE journey in a second, but my SWE journey, I had always taken volunteer positions as president of sections in different positions. And that made me realize that I actually wanted to go into management. So I was a senior engineer and a project manager in the energy efficiency field for many years. Then I took a few years off to raise my son. And then when I returned, I was a manager. Basically, if I could do a task, it's one thing, but if I train and encourage others to do a task, it's quite another. Both at work and at SWE, I'm often heard to say, I don't do any actual work. My work is to empower others to do their work. I'm currently a vice president at MV5, where I lead the West Building Solutions Group, and we do those services, energy audits, retro commissioning, making buildings more energy efficient. So that's my career journey. And for SWE, I've had several jobs throughout my life, but SWE has been very consistent. I've been a member for over 35 years, and I've held many positions at the local level of president of Baltimore Washington section in Orange County. Also worked on the national level. I was membership chair many years ago, and my claim to fame is many years ago, over 20 years ago, I was the Section Vitality Task Force chair, and then the first Section Vitality Committee chair at the national level, and this was to help sections be healthy. Or I should say the reason why I got that position is because when I moved to Orange County, I revitalized the Orange County section, growing from 37 members to over 100, and today it's a couple hundred or more. And I was that first Section Vitality Committee chair, going around being their coach and helping sections be healthy, and that later turned into part of what is leadership coaching today. So that's a great thing. And then I took a bit of a break, and I saw this interesting email, I think it was in 2017, that said, be a member of the senior member engagement task force. As the regions were dissolving, one of the things that the board wanted to do was to address those senior members' concern, is to create this task force. And then one of the task force recommendation was to create the affinity group. It was originally the senior member engagement affinity group, and I was very proud to start that in 2019. I co-founded it with Deborah Kimberling, and we later called it the Late Career and Retiree Affinity Group. And then I didn't stop there. Then I went on to be the Business and Interest Affinity Group lead, and now I'm proud to be in FY23 the first affinity group committee chair. It's an entire committee. We just welcomed 4 affinity groups in, so now we have 21 affinity groups. So that's a brief background on myself.
Excellent. That's very, very interesting. So Holly, why don't you tell us about yourself first, your career and your SWE journey?
Very glad to be here and very excited to have this role in the LCR group. I've been with 3M for 25 years. I did work a couple of years before that. And I've been involved in SWE for most of that time, very heavily in the beginning in collegiate, and then right out of school, and then really got very involved in the last 15 years or so, primarily in SWE, Minnesota. So my jobs have been primarily in manufacturing as a process and product engineer in manufacturing lines, also quality, research and development, manufacturing technology, and also as a 3M liaison with an external supplier that we have there. And through all of that, I've been at several different locations, and I've had the opportunity to be involved in different SWE chapters around the country, which has been great to meet people, networking, and see how other people do things or get engaged with each other and with SWE. So I've been more involved with the LCR group now that I'm getting towards the twilight of my career. And this was a perfect opportunity for me to get involved. Right now, I belong to the SWE Minnesota chapter, so I've been involved in a variety of different ways there. But even more so at SWE, I started the 3M SWE group and in 2017 with about 50 members, and now we're over 400 members.
Wow.
And I've just been so excited with each year as a new chair comes on board, how they pick up the ball and run with it and grow with it. And so in that group right now, I'm serving as the hub coordinator or hub liaison. So I'm working with getting SWE chapters set up at various 3M sites around the country. And we do have one overseas as well. And it's really exciting. We meet monthly and network and have breakout sessions. We have professional development and all kinds of great things. So when Vicki was talking about the local section engagement group, I thought this was perfect. It tied in really well because what we're trying to accomplish here is very similar. How do we engage different groups with the local chapters?
Deborah, tell us about your career and SWE journey.
Thank you, Vicki. I am an aerospace engineer that has worked in industry as in the manufacturing of gas turbine engines for solar turbines, 22 years. I've also worked in academia as professor at Purdue, and I have worked for the government as a naval civil servant for a local place called NOSC at the time. They've changed names a few times. And I've also worked on the Atlas Centaur rocket when I was at General Dynamics, now Lockheed Martin. I first joined SWE back in the 80s when I was working at General Dynamics. One of the folks had invited me to get more involved. Before you know it, I was the president of the San Diego section, and today I'm been in SWE San Diego for over 30 years. I am a SWE Life member, a fellow, and a proud co-founder of the Late Career and Retiree group. So that's my background in a nutshell, Vicki.
Thank you, Deborah. That was very interesting. So Nancy, why don't you tell us about your career and SWE journey?
Thank you, Vicki. So my SWE life and my career are pretty much entangled. I'm a 45-year SWE plus SWE member and a fellow, which I obtained in 2001. I joined SWE when forming the San Jose State University student section in 1976, which is the picture on the far left. Volunteering for SWE has been a big part of my life. I joined Hewlett-Packard when I graduated from school, and volunteering was big in the organization. So I had time to volunteer, and I had support to do what I wanted to do. The next step in my life really came when I joined a startup in 1990. Turned out it was filled with mostly Hewlett-Packard employees. So I was able to continue volunteering, not quite as strongly as I had in the past, but I was able to use facilities and also recruit women as we had women in engineering and get them to participate in SWE as well. So SWE's been a huge part of my life and my family's life. I recruited my family, and SWE became a family affair. Even when my son was 3 years old, he participated in SWE. A highlight for me was receiving the Distinguished Service Award in 2006. Judy Garzolini, a longtime friend and who I used to room with when we were both at Hewlett-Packard, was president and presented the award to me, which was an extra highlight as well. At that time, region activities were my real focus, and that's where I connected to SWE. I found myself with friends, and I met new friends along the way. Once the SWE activities within regions were ceased, I was afloat. I had nowhere to go. And then I discovered the Late Career Retiree group. And that has been my connection to these longtime friends and also the new friends that I have. And during the time when I was working, even when I joined LCR, the intensity of work sometimes was pretty high, but the participation in SWE allowed me to have that place where I knew I felt comfortable. I used to always say everything I learned about management, I learned from SWE. And I truly believe that. And I think that's what helped me to become more successful in my company, I was vice president of technology when I joined. And as things moved along over the 28 years of being in the startup, which became a full-fledged company, I retired as a general manager at Trimble.
Well, that's us. You heard about most of the people who are leads in our subgroups. Hope that you enjoyed it. I'll remind you again about our QR code and our link tree. We would love to have you become part of our organization. Thank you very much.